You're not afraid of them leaving. You're afraid of being alone with who you've become while trying to keep them. You've twisted yourself into shapes that don't even resemble you anymore, and the saddest part, they're going to leave anyway. Look at what your fear of rejection has cost you. Your voice, your boundaries, your truth, your peace. You've paid the highest price imaginable to avoid a pain that you're already living. Your fear of rejection isn't protecting you. It's training you to reject yourself first. Every time you silence your needs, swallow your boundaries, or pretend to be someone you're not, you're practicing self-abandonment. You're teaching yourself that who you really are isn't worth defending. Every morning you wake up and choose them over you. Every conversation where you agree when you disagree. Every moment you smile when you want to cry. Every time you stay quiet when you should speak up. This is rejection. This is abandonment. And it's coming from the person who should protect you most, you. If this feels like I'm reading your mind, hit that subscribe button and let me know in the comments what you struggle to say no to the most. I read every single comment, and your story might be exactly what someone else needs to hear today. Here's what psychologist John Bowlby discovered about attachment. We don't just fear being left by others, we fear being left by ourselves. When you were a child, you learned that love was conditional. You had to be good enough, quiet enough, perfect enough to earn it. So you started monitoring yourself, editing yourself, abandoning pieces of yourself to avoid abandonment. Your parents didn't mean to teach you this. Your teachers didn't plan it. Society didn't conspire against you. But somehow you learned that your authentic self was dangerous, that your real feelings were too much, that your genuine needs were selfish, that your true thoughts were wrong. But here's the brutal truth, the rejection you're so afraid of. It already happened. It happened the moment you decided that who you are wasn't enough. It happened when you chose their approval over your own integrity. The person rejecting you the most isn't them, it's you. You think you're being rejected by others, but you're actually being rejected by the version of yourself that refuses to let you be real. You've become your own worst critic, your own harshest judge, your own cruelest abandoner. You think you're being strategic, you think you're being smart by becoming what they want. But what you're actually doing is creating a relationship with a ghost, a version of yourself that doesn't exist. And when they fall in love with that ghost, you feel emptier than ever because you know they don't really see you. They're in love with your performance. They're attached to your mask. They're connected to the person you pretend to be when you're afraid. But the real you is starving for connection. The real you is dying for someone to say, I see you and you're enough. But how can they see you if you won't let yourself be seen? How can they choose you if you won't choose yourself? How can they accept you if you've already rejected yourself? Alfred Adler called this the fictional self, the person we pretend to be to feel safe in the world. But here's what he understood that most people miss. The fictional self always betrays the real self. Always. Because it's built on the foundation that who you really are isn't acceptable. Your fictional self is exhausted. It takes enormous energy to be someone you're not, to monitor every word, to edit every feeling, to perform every interaction, to calculate every response. You're not living. You're managing an image. You're not connecting. You're controlling perception. And the irony? The cruel, devastating irony? The more you abandon yourself to avoid abandonment, the more abandoned you feel. The more you reject yourself to avoid rejection, the more rejected you become. You're creating the very pain you're trying to escape. Every time you say yes when you mean no, you're training yourself that your real feelings don't matter. Every time you laugh at jokes that aren't funny to you, you're teaching yourself that your authentic reactions are wrong. Every time you pretend to want what you don't want, you're practicing the art of self-betrayal. Every time you bite your tongue when you should speak up, you're telling yourself your voice doesn't matter. Every time you shrink to make others comfortable, you're teaching yourself that your presence is too much. Every time you dim your light to avoid making others feel small, you're training yourself to live in darkness. Your fear of rejection has become a full-time job. You clock in every morning by checking their mood before you check your own. You work overtime by analyzing their texts, their tone, their distance. You take no breaks from wondering if you said the wrong thing, did the wrong thing, were the wrong thing. And then you wonder why you feel so lonely even when you're with people. You wonder why their love doesn't fill the emptiness. It's because they're loving a performance, not a person. They're connected to your mask, not your face. You've become so good at reading others that you've forgotten how to read yourself. So skilled at meeting their needs that you don't even know what your needs are anymore. So practiced at avoiding their rejection that you can't recognize your own self-abandonment. The fear of rejection has convinced you that abandoning yourself is safer than risking abandonment by others. But abandoning yourself is abandonment. You've already experienced the very thing you're trying to avoid. You're living in the rejection you're so afraid of, except it's coming from the inside. Carl Rogers called this conditional positive regard, the belief that we're only worthy of love when we meet certain conditions. But here's what he discovered. When we give ourselves unconditional positive regard, when we accept ourselves completely, we stop needing others to complete us. We stop abandoning ourselves for scraps of approval. But you've been living under conditional self-regard for so long that you don't even know what unconditional feels like. You've been so busy earning your own love that you forgot love isn't something you earn, it's something you are. You think the answer is finding someone who won't reject you, but the real answer is becoming someone you won't reject. You think the solution is finding someone who will choose you. But the real solution is choosing yourself so completely that their choice becomes irrelevant. The people who are meant for you won't require you to disappear to earn their love. The right people will be drawn to your boundaries, not repelled by them. They'll appreciate your authenticity, not punish you for it. They'll see your real self and think, yes, this is what I've been looking for. But here's the paradox. You can only attract people who won't abandon you after you stop abandoning yourself. You can only find people who won't reject you after you stop rejecting yourself. The love you're looking for can only find you when you're actually you. But first, you have to stop running from yourself. You have to stop treating your real thoughts, feelings, and needs like they're shameful secrets. You have to start believing that who you are, messy, imperfect, complicated, real, is not just acceptable, but valuable. You have to stop apologizing for taking up space, stop minimizing your feelings, stop explaining your boundaries, stop justifying your needs, stop defending your truth. Your existence is not a negotiation. Your worth is not up for debate. The person you're trying so hard to keep, if they can't handle the real you, they were never yours to begin with. If they need you to be smaller to love you, they don't love you, they love control. If they require you to be perfect to stay, they'll leave anyway because perfect doesn't exist. Here's your new practice. Instead of asking, what do they want me to be? Start asking, who am I when I'm not performing? Instead of, how can I avoid rejection? Ask, how can I honor myself? Instead of, what if they leave? Ask, what if I stay? Instead of, how can I make them choose me? Ask, how can I choose me? Instead of, what's wrong with me? Ask, what's right with me? Instead of, how can I be enough for them? Ask, how can I be enough for me? Stop checking their face for approval and start checking your own heart for truth. Stop monitoring their mood and start monitoring your own needs. Stop managing their feelings and start honoring your own. The rejection you're so afraid of loses its power the moment you stop rejecting yourself. Because when you know your own worth, when you defend your own truth, when you choose yourself first, other people's opinions become just that, opinions, not verdicts, not threats, just thoughts from people who may or may not understand you. When someone rejects you now, instead of thinking, what's wrong with me, you'll think we weren't aligned. Instead of, I'm not enough, you'll think we weren't a match. Instead of, I need to change, you'll think, I need to find my people. You don't need their approval to exist. You don't need their validation to matter. You don't need their acceptance to be whole. You need your own. You need to look in the mirror and say, I see you. I choose you. I'm not leaving you. You need to become the person you've been waiting for someone else to be, the person who sees your worth, the person who defends your boundaries, the person who honors your feelings, the person who chooses you consistently. That person is you. That person has always been you. Your fear of rejection taught you to abandon yourself, but your commitment to yourself will teach you to stay. Your fear made you small, but your self-love will make you whole. Your fear made you hide, but your truth will set you free. The fear of rejection kept you small to feel safe, but small isn't safe. Small is suffocating. The real safety comes from knowing that no matter who leaves, you'll never abandon yourself again. The real peace comes from knowing that the person you need to choose you most has already made that choice. Some people will reject the real you. Let them. Their rejection is information, not instruction. It tells you who they are, not who you are. It reveals their capacity, not your worth. It shows their limits, not your value. The right people are looking for exactly who you are, not who you pretend to be, not who you think you should be, not who you were trained to be. Who you are right now. Messy, imperfect, complicated, beautiful you. Stop training yourself to disappear. Start training yourself to show up. Stop practicing self-abandonment. Start practicing self-loyalty. Stop rehearsing rejection. Start practicing acceptance, self-acceptance. The right people will find you there, not in the shadows where you've been hiding, but in the light where you belong, not in the performance you've been giving, but in the truth you've been avoiding, not in the fear you've been living, but in the love you've been seeking. That love starts with you. That choice starts with you. That acceptance starts with you. Stop waiting for someone else to choose you. Choose yourself. Stop waiting for someone else to see your worth. See it yourself. Stop waiting for someone else to love you completely. Love yourself completely. Your fear of rejection was training you to abandon yourself. But today, you start training yourself to come home.